I see that Cobblepot is doing something very different with his colors. Here's your look at McFarlane Toys, DC Multiverse, DC Classics, Platinum Edition, The Penguin. They say you shouldn't judge a book by its cover, but they also say evil is as evil does. A master manipulator, the Penguin is usually surrounded by violent henchmen who do the bidding without question. But when it comes down to face-to-face, expect him to unleash a deadly barrage of a variety of umbrella weapons and other ingenious devices, often taking the form of foul. And when all else fails, the Penguin will fight as dirty as they come. Hand-to-hand combat doesn't ruffle his feathers at all. Since this fiendish felon has been loose, fish felonies have gone up 20%. Just before we get a closer look, though, at McFarlane Collector's Edition DC Comics Platinum Edition. Wow, I don't even know how I'm going to get that all in the title. I'll worry about that later. The tape measure is going to tell us that this version of Penguin is going to stand at 6 1/4 inches in height, where Oswald Cobblepot is 16 centimeters tall. Obviously, it's still using the same mold as the original DC Classics Penguin we looked at about a week or so ago. The cosmetic changes are more inspired by the what stuff we got from Kenner, based the color scheme here on the original Superpowers version of Penguin, which I had at one point. I don't know his whereabouts right now. I didn't do this last time. I'm going to do this right now, though. Here's also what the figure looks like with the Arkham series version of Penguin. I'm not going to bring in the Batman's Penguin because he looks nothing like Oswald Cobblepot from the comic pages. I am, however, though, going to bring in the ones that we got also from Mattel. I did this the last time as well. Though this one isn't going to be as much close in colors, it's a little bit more closer to the original version of Penguin. But hey, however, there was also this version of Penguin that also got released too. Both the colors, again, the blues, the yellows, and even the purples are exactly the same. The only thing, unfortunately, the newer release one from McFarlane's team does miss the mark on is the additional panel stripe that he has down below in his pants. If you were lucky enough to pick up that original Penguin, the figure then has the exact same accessories as this one here. First, the figure comes included with a display stand. The stand is no different really than the stand we got the first time around. Though now treated to a silver DC logo down below, the normal Multiverse stuff doesn't get that extra frills. The silver does work quite well, and I really kind of wish that they could use silver kind of moving forward instead of just going with a very dark black, because a lot of times you just can't see it. Do I have one over here? I usually have myself a little stack of stands. Oh, I've got one right over here. Just going to bring in the original stand so you guys can see. I mean, you already know by now what these stands look like. It's so hard to kind of really make out the DC logo. Some people just prefer that because it's just a very neutral looking display stand that you can use then for other figure companies. I suppose maybe it isn't a bad deal at all, the fact that only really the frills get offered up here with the Collector's Edition or Platinum Edition McFarlane Toys. Why are we spending so much time talking about stands? Let's put those to the side. We're going to spend a little bit more time talking about stands. The figure comes included still with a podium stand that has the card located in the top. The DC logo is printed here in the front, all painted again nicely in silver, all hollow though on the back. I'm going to put that over to the side. By the way, though, it is the same one that we got with the original Penguin, and it also features the exact same card. If you're hoping, though, the back of it would have a completely different read-up. Are you new here? No. Exactly the same read-up from one to the other. So if you've already extensively read this one, probably had to go back and read it a couple of times because the wording sometimes gets you all tongue-tied. It happens to me as well. Then you've read this one also as well. It's the exact same card. So we're going to put that back in the... I do kind of wish that they could have given us a different card, but I mean, really, considering the fact that all the budget then went into casting this now in a different plastic color, I don't mind at all that they then save some of the cost with not producing additional things that weren't packed with the original Penguin. Keep wiping away the screen here. The figure comes included still with the same exact hands as the original Penguin. One closed fist, one open hand. So if you didn't really want to have him with the means to hold his parasol right now, swap it out for either one of these, and you'll be doing away with that idea completely. The closed fist and the gripping hand, or the gestured hand, is just a simple case of popping off the hands that he already has right now. Maybe we'll come back to that more in a moment. The figure also comes included with his umbrella, which though is different, at least not from a molding standpoint, but at least from the color. The original parasol would have been all here in gold, which still has the penguin head there for the top of the handle. But this time around, the actual folded portion of the umbrella would have been all in black. This time around, though, we actually get ourselves a folded up umbrella still, but at least it's colored here in red. It looks to be as well that when you're looking at the two, the head of the bird, the penguin, is a little bit different. I mean, you can see that this one has a little bit more of a metallic gold finish. This one has kind of more of a neutral, more yellow finished gold. I do wish, though, that they could have included an extra parasol, and I may have even mentioned that when we looked at the original Penguin. Folded up fine is for the original one, but maybe if they had gone all out with this one and given us the opened umbrella. One thing I did do, though, in preparation to this, I just grabbed to the side here. These were the umbrellas that came in with the original Mattel releases. These were exactly the same. This was for the original black version of the Penguin. And then this one here was the colored version that came included with the blue Penguin. Kind of, again, more inspired by the Kenner. Both of these also had, even though these aren't accessories, obviously, that come included with these figures, they had these, I'm guessing this would be machine guns, and then this would be the part that rotates and basically shoots out the holes, even though there's really no holes on the front of this. I don't think Oswald's really thought this out very well, but this, anyways, does spin. You could, though, take these off. So if you don't really like the idea that these are already on these, you just clip these or declip them, remove them. Oh, actually, look at this. I've still got the elastic clipped on this one. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. I'm only going to remove it from the one that was more interesting anyways. This one had the alternate colors of the red and the blue, and it was paneled, as you can see, with the yellow. This one I've already taken the liberty of removing. You could take this off altogether, and if you wanted to, even though it isn't really sized appropriately to this Penguin, you could, though, use this umbrella. I'll put this into his hand. You guys can see. It's a little on the small side, admittingly, but if you wanted to have this one a little bit more closer to the original Kenner Penguin, then you could actually use this umbrella if you happen to have the original one still released from Mattel. I'm just going to remove that right now. We're going to put that off to the side. I guess we don't really need this podium either. We'll just move that also off to the side. And getting a closer look, though, at now the Kenner version of Penguin. I like the colors. I know this isn't going to be something that's going to appeal to everybody. Most people probably that are just the casual collectors of Penguin figures or even like the DC classic figures probably would be more interested, I would imagine. And I'm not going to assume that I'm going to make that assumption for everybody, but probably be a little bit more interested, I would imagine, in just the black top hat, black jacket, and then the orange vest. When I did do the review, though, of that one, I did also mention the fact that, for strange reasons, I don't know, the bottom half of his jacket was all here like a dark blue. The top was black, and that was fine. But reasons, again, unknown, this section down below here wasn't in black, but they actually went in there and painted it blue. I don't have that problem also here with this Penguin. But again, like if you're looking at the two, the molds are exactly the same to one another. You know, in a way, though, I kind of wish that they could have changed the face just a little bit. If they are going to be retooling this, or at least recasting this same mold, why not do something a little bit different? Why not knock stuff off in the side here? Bringing the original Penguin here, we got from Mattel. Remember that this one still had the monocle on the corner of his eye, but it did have a big smile on his face as well. Kind of gave him a little bit more of a jovial face. I wish that they could have done maybe something similar here to this Penguin. I mean, we already have really this head sculpt anyways. Why not maybe just change the face a little bit and give Penguin either a cigar, which would be one thing that's still unfortunately lacking with both of the figures, or just a big smile on his face. I think that would be a nice touch as well. I am really missing the fact that this guy does not have a cigarette. I don't know really what the mandate is when it comes to. We all know that guns are a big no-no. You can't have guns with any of these figures. But the idea of a cigar, could we not have included that? I think this Penguin could have had a little cigar, and then the other one didn't have to have that. But again, like the colors here, again, a lot brighter, because now you got yourself a blue top hat, blue jacket, very bright yellow vest here, and purple pants. The only thing unfortunately missing, while it still has the matching spats. I mean, like they almost matched color to color. The pants and even like the jacket are almost like mirror copies to one another. This would be an expert paint person. If you ever went into a paint place and you usually bring in like a little color sample, I needed to match this. And there's always that one expert. They always say, hey, Bill, come over here for a second. This person needs to match the colors. And Bill's kind of walking out. He's just finishing up a sandwich. He's got like food all over his shirt, and he just kind of just wipes away his face. He's like, I'm going to do this. And he goes in there and just proceeds to match the colors perfectly to whatever color sample somebody brought in. I feel like whoever worked behind the scenes at McFarlane Toys matched the colors perfectly. I mean, look at the colors for the purple, for example. The hats are exactly the same. Jacket. The only thing that they didn't do quite right is that they didn't match the matching silver. So he's got a little bit more of a pearl silver there for his bow tie. This version of Penguin, they went instead kind of with more just a gray. And that's okay. But the rest of the colors, I think, are perfectly matched. The only thing, again, that's missing, unfortunately, is this guy doesn't have the pinstripes on his pants. But maybe they decided that it was just maybe too complicated. And, you know, just striping pants might be something that could be missed or painted improperly, for example. You can see, again, like the original one with Mattel was fine. I mean, I kind of wish that they could have still used panel lining. But the fact that we get a figure from head to toe that matches that color, Bill's been doing a good job. Bill needs a raise, even though he's got food all over his place, all over his shirt, all over the floor. He's coming out the back. I don't even know where. It's just Bill living in the back corner of the building. He doesn't even really have a home. Bill sort of just works and then lives in the store. Anyways, though, for the figure's articulation, I know we didn't really spend a whole lot of time talking about the face sculpt, though, but once again, a stellar sculpt for Oswald Cobblepot. He's got the pointy nose. He's got the monocle there on the side of his eye. Of course, the top hat is not removable, so don't try to rip it off, whatever you do. But for the figure's articulation, it's going to be exactly the same as the original DC Classics Penguin. in that his head is on a ball joint, so it looks up about that high. It looks down about that low. It also rocks back and forth, and in theory, you could rotate all the way around, although in theory, you'd basically be snapping the poor penguin's neck. The arms do also rotate all the way around. You can bring the arms out easily at 90 degrees, although this arm's a little on the looser side, it still moves out at 90 degrees. There's a swivel there at the bicep, a double hinge on the elbow, and the hands rotate all the way around. Penguin still possesses an upper torso ball joint. And this, by the way, is just because you can't see this yourself. It's not like you can reach your hand through the screen and touch this. Hey, stay away from my figure. But you can, as you can see here, there's a little bit of a softer plastic that they've used for basically his midriff area. Probably just an overlay that they put over top of a figure frame. Legs are on ball hinges, or I guess hinge joints. You can split the legs about that far. He does, yes, still have the figure diaper, if you want to call it that. Legs go forward, legs go back, swivel at the top of the thigh, single hinge on the knee, rotation, lower leg, hinge back and forth for the ankle, and you can also rock him back and forth. The figure also does have toe articulation, even though I'm sure you're not going to be putting this guy in acrobatic poses. That's the penguin from the Batman cartoon. All in all, though, I really like the look of this penguin. Why is he over there? Well, he's over there because we're going to be bringing this guy back in. And again, what we'll do is we'll bring back in the Mattel releases, even though obviously McFarlane Toys is doing their own thing. They didn't do these things back in the day of the DC Universe Classics figures. But again, that's what the color schemes, as you can see, again, matched perfectly. The only thing that's disappointing, though, is that the original penguin they had to look at, I know we've already discussed that extensively in his review, is that there's still that kind of blue area around the area of his jacket. And that, though, matching the colors really well on this figure. Disappointed also the fact that they didn't decide to do something a little bit different with the parasols, with the umbrellas, that if this one was, for example, all folded up, they could have taken the time and made the liberty of having this one being opened up. Maybe down the road we might get ourselves a, I don't know, a penguin accessory pack, probably very slim to none. But I really like the fact that we did get ourselves two variations of penguin. Yes, it is using the same mold. Yes, I'm sure there could have been an opportunity where they could have gone in there and changed the faces just slightly, maybe mimicking something a little bit more closer to this. But still, all in all, a nice looking penguin. I'm probably not going to be displaying this guy, though, with the rest of my Rogues Gallery. I think this particular penguin, swiping away the screen again, I think this version of penguin, freeing up space again, is probably going to be displayed, I think, with this version of Riddler. Just because, again, like they look a little bit more like their original Kenner counterparts. Even though Riddler really wasn't a release, I think he was released in, Brazil, using basically the Hal Jordan Green Lantern body, just basically painted all in green. The place where I normally pick up a lot of my figures online happen to have both the regular penguin and the Platinum Edition penguin that we looked at in this review. Unfortunately, though, by the time I had funds available, I went back to look at that online site and they didn't have that penguin anymore. Luckily, though, I did find him elsewhere. But one thing about the Platinum Edition penguin is that he's going to ask a little bit more from your wallet, as I think he's about $15 or so more than a regular Classics edition. Some may say he's just a total pass altogether, that if they really were to get an Oswald Cobblepot for their collection, yes, the DC Classics would be the route they would go, but they would rather instead go with the black version of the penguin, more just, again, the regular look of penguin versus the one that we get here instead. I'm a little bit more attached to the way they were from like the Kenner days, even though this isn't going to be the definitive penguin on the show. I'm happy to have at least both ones so that the black jacket penguin will be the one that's going to go with my regular Rogues Gallery of Batman. And then this one will be set aside in a special place in a special shelf to be displayed. What I'm trying to do is building up all my kind of classic looking figures. Maybe not the ones that belong in with the regular DC Multiverse kind of display, but ones that will be set aside, segregated to be displayed along with, like already looked at, the penguin and the Riddler. Those two figures, I think, are going to be the ones that are going to kind of start my collection of kind of superpowers-inspired figures. But if you guys are interested, both penguins are available right now. And let me know down below in the comments section. Would you guys be interested to get both of them? And if given the choice and you only have the budget available for one, which one would you choose? The black jacket or the blue jacket? Let me know down below in the comments section. If in the meantime you guys did enjoy this video, I want to throw it a like. If you guys are loving the content you guys are seeing and want to stick around for more, well then, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. And equally well then, make sure you turn on the bell notification. As always, guys, thanks for watching. See you guys next time.